motivated to sell their house, and you're going to get the low hanging fruit of the batch that way. I don't know. That's my opinion though.
I agree 100%. And the only thing I would add to that is if you can't do either of those things, you can be smart enough to hire somebody who is. That's kind of would be my only addition to that. And then just kind of lead them, show them the light, be the visionary. Hey, look, you're good at sales. I'm not. You can do this. You're good at marketing. I'm not. Here you go. Bang. Just kind of put the pieces together. That'd be my only addition to that.
And you guys have both done that on your own accord too. I mean, you have your brother, you have your wife, Mackenzie.
Yeah. I mean, shit, you can't do everything yourself. A team. I mean, getting started, you're wearing all the hats, and that's what we were doing at first. Doing everything, going to look at properties. I mean, I literally had a call this morning with a lady. She's back and forth, because this is a lot of follow. That's where the sales skills come in. Like if you can't follow up with these people, then you're the reality of doing business with the people is just gonna go way down. So, anyways, she called me this morning. She wants me to come out and look at the house. I'm like, I really don't want to waste your time. If I am coming out to look at the house, I mean, I'm coming out to do business, and it doesn't sound like you're at a point to where you want to do that right now. So I totally understand and just totally take away. And she's like, oh, well, maybe I am ready to do business today. So that's just like a really quick little role play. And these people, there you go, Rick. Exactly. It's all up here, with doing this like virtual, like Rick and I do. So it's pretty cool.
Well, you lead me to my next question. What scripts do you guys lean on quite a bit? That one's a great one. What else do you guys have for all these young wholesalers or just normal people looking to get one or two deals to feed their own buyer?
I have I'm sure Wes does too, but so I don't do any cold calling myself anymore, but I have a cold calling script that I used to train my VAs with and that I used to use myself. I mean, if anyone wants that, you could plug my email in here somewhere. I'm sure Wes has one too. You can take both of our cold calling scripts and take a look at them. But I mean, if you're just starting out, it's as basic as, hey, Mrs. Jones, or hey, is this Mrs. Jones? Yeah. I was actually calling about your house on 123 Main Street. Curious if you'd ever given any thought about selling the house. I mean, it's as simple as that. People overcomplicate this. Like you got to know every little detail. You should know some. I mean, don't be completely ignorant, but you're just talking to people and asking people if they want to sell their house.
No paralysis analysis.
Exactly.
Or analysis. You get it.
Yeah.
What about you, Wes? What recommendations do you have in that regard?
I mean, I agree with Rick. I mean, don't overthink it. It's scripts. Training. I mean, I can share with my scripts like I did on the other call the other night. I'd be happy to. But just knowing what to say and when to say it is very important, and that it comes from training. If you're not training, you're not going to know what to say. So we train multiple times a day. We did role play training with the whole team this morning. We do that every morning, and then they break out and they do their own training like 2 or 3 times a day while they're taking calls, making calls, those types of things. So very simple.
Yeah.
They're interested or they're not. For me, you know what I mean? Now, those people that might be interested later, of course, we're following up with those people. But for the most part, you're either interested or you're not. So that's kind of how we deal with that.
It's definitely a muscle. If you don't consistently work out that muscle, you're going to lose it or you're going to abuse it, meaning you're not utilizing it correctly. So, you got to keep working out the muscle by, like you said, doing role plays. Get on the phone with someone and just practice. Get on the phone with, I know when we first got started, I would get on and just call people on Craigslist that wanted retail for their house, people that, on Zillow, anyone I could talk to just to get my pitch out, knowing that this probably wasn't a good person to be talking to about, trying to get a steep discount on their house, but just so I could go through the motions. And that way, when that person came that was motivated, I was prepared.
Oh. Okay. So we talked about scripts. What would you recommend to a person that is trying to just dig up a few deals for themselves to flip or do their own rentals? If you were going to mine one resource just for 2 deals a year, what would you guys be doing?
I would say for sure, drive for dollars. Go get in your car, go find that neighborhood where you want that property to be and find the shitty properties that are there. Get a big list of them and call all the owners. Super cheap. You probably already got a car. You probably got a phone. And I'm sure you came up with a pad and a pen. Pad of paper and a pen. Just go out and find them. Skip trace them. You can use truepeoplesearch.com to get free numbers for people. I mean, you have to search them by yourself, by hand. No big deal, especially if you're only looking to do a couple of deals like you say there. One of those people is going to want to sell. Yeah. Somebody in that list is going to want to sell. If you get if you get enough leads, that is.
Yeah, I mean, my numbers, so I have a guy that drives for dollars for me. And I think just about one every 150 to 200 leads, you're bound to find a motivated seller.
Yeah.
And I know it's a guaranteed way to get a deal, whether you're a flipper looking for your own deal or a wholesaler. I know as soon as I quit my job, we didn't have a whole lot of money in the bank. And we had spent it pretty quick and had no deals. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I quit my job. I don't have any money. Like, I'm screwed. And I literally went and drove for dollars for one day. I'm not saying this is, typical, but I went and drove for dollars for one day. The next day I called them, and a week later I had a 10K deal. So, I mean, you're going to find a deal if you drive for dollars enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, for sure.
No, that's awesome. I had a really good question, and then I read someone else's question. Now I don't remember my awesome question. It'll come back to me, I'm sure. Okay. So I guess, Wesley, just what tool that people use didn't work for you? So, there's all these people trying to sell you resources and tools on KREIA, Deal Machine, et cetera. What's something that didn't work for you that maybe, everything obviously can work for anyone, but what didn't work for you that you'd say, I'd pass on that if I were you?
That's a good question. And I think consistency is what works. So if you are cold calling and you call 25 people and you give up there, it doesn't work. It's not going to work for you. So what we did whenever we got started was direct mail was the way to get leads, right? So we would send direct mail, and it didn't work for us. We were spending hundreds of dollars. We weren't seeing any results. We're like, this just doesn't work. So that from here on out, we haven't really done any direct mail. It's just not something that we do. But I'm not going to say it doesn't work, because it absolutely does. So my answer to your question is inconsistency doesn't work. So I wouldn't try that. If whatever you're going to do, do it.
That's a good answer. It's on the board, number one. Do you have anything, Rick, on that?
I would say cold calling doesn't work, so everyone else can quit doing it. All right. No, I'm kidding. I agree exactly with what Wes said.
Yeah. Okay, so if you're a new wholesaler, what kind of, like a new wholesaler, maybe not where you guys are at right now, but like what kind of margin do you need to have on a deal? And what's your thought process on pricing a deal?
Good question.
Thought process on pricing?
Yeah, like on pricing a deal that you're going to send out to the public.
So for us, our minimum, we needed to be a minimum of $10,000.
But now, it's not always been that way.
No, of course not.
I'm talking about when you first start. Because we've got a lot of
first start. Oh shit, any deal, anything that makes sense, any deal, like a skinny deal. For us at this point, it doesn't make sense for us to put time and energy and ton of effort into a deal and make $2-3 grand. It just doesn't make sense. We literally lose money on that. So some of you, that might sound crazy. It needs to be a 10K deal, but that's like like the lower end of the spectrum, just because of what goes into this. But that's just kind of,
well,
I said my very first deal, $1,700. It was awesome. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hear me. Well, what I was saying was my first deal was $1,700, like I said. And I mean, that was awesome because, I found him on Craigslist. He was on Craigslist and Zillow. I was like, wow, this guy's motivated. He's got him on both sides. So it was a $1,700 deal. I mean, I drove to his house like 2 times, talked to him. It was great. It was awesome. I had no expenses into it. It was awesome. So, if you can do deals like that and not have any money into them, that's great. But I mean, at this point, it costs us, thousands of dollars, to sometimes get these leads. So it just doesn't make sense now.
Well, one thing that I always keep in perspective, especially for these new wholesalers, is like I have accountant friends that make, $2,000 a week working 50 hours a week sitting at a desk. So even if you're just making $900, I mean, like if you look at it time relative to that, it's worth it. It adds up. But I understand too. I mean, if you take money away working these $2,000, $3,000 deals, then you're not going to address the $10,000 deals as much.
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing. Like if anybody's actually considering doing this, you will find out. I can almost guarantee that Rick will attest to this. The littler deals are way more struggling to get to the closing table, way more difficult to get to the closing table than the bigger deals. The bigger deals that have more juice in the squeeze, everything is just falls into place for those. It seems like the smaller deals, you're fighting to get them to the closing table, and it's just a pain in the butt.
Yeah, 100%.
So what are some areas in Indiana and Louisville that you don't work because the spread's too thin?
So I still like market, I guess, to the West End, and I've got a triplex there I'm trying to sell right now, but I just don't. I would rather not. It's just a time suck, and I hate to say I'm passing up on money, but I'd let someone else get that. I stay away from it. There's nowhere in Indiana that I'll stay away from. There's nowhere in Lexington I'll stay away from, but really just the West End. But like I said, I mean, I still do deals there. I just don't, not at the quantity I could, and I just don't enjoy it.
Wes, what about you?
I agree. 100%.
Yeah.
I don't market to the West End at all. 10, 11, and 12, 402, 10, 11, and 12. We can't make $10,000 on a $40,000 house. We can't. $30,000 house, $15,000 house. We can't. It doesn't even make sense for us.
Or what?
I could call.
What?
Do what?
I was just say what. What tools are you guys using to check on for liens to see what that looks like before you get something under contract?
Before?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll take a look at like the county assessor to find the taxes and stuff like that. But my school of thought is attorneys get paid a lot of money, and they get paid a lot of money for a reason. I'm going to let them figure that out and not waste my time dealing with it.
Smart.
Agree.
Okay. So if you guys weren't wholesalers, what industry would you be in, and what would you be doing?
I'd be a Instagram influencer and travel the world and get paid to stay in hotels.
You'd be out of business right now, right?
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. No, that'd be really cool. I mean, that's like I can't see myself working for anybody. I would be doing something creative. Back when I first got started in this, my vision was multi-million-dollar lawn care landscape empire. That's where I wanted to go until I knew about this. And I'm like, now it's kind of a little bit different. So I don't want that. I'd probably be doing that realistically.
Yeah. I would definitely say something in the entrepreneurial realm. That's always, since I was a kid, that's always been kind of my goal. And I always just said I wanted to get rich. And I guess that's a little, immature thinking about it in hindsight. But I mean,
no, I disagree. That's not immature at all.
It's always been my goal. So
yeah, for sure.
Okay. So I've got some more questions, but I'm going to start going to the gallery, and then we'll get to my other questions later. Jeff, I'm going to look up your question while they're answering this next question. Okay. So Jay Fletch, I think it's Jonathan Fletcher. I'm not sure. He wants to know what you're doing in your business now that you aren't using scripts. Like, what are you guys doing on your end? And then I'm going to look up the answer to Jeff's question.
I think so no matter what you're doing, I think you're always using a script, whether it's training a new sales guy or whether, if I get on the phone with a seller today, even though I'm not staring at a piece of paper, I'm still using a script. I say the same thing to every seller. It's just ingrained in my head. So, every part of sales, every part of this entire business is all scripted. Just because you're not staring at a piece of paper doesn't mean you're not scripting what you're saying. If you're picking up what I'm throwing down.
Oh yeah, I get what you're putting out.
We still use scripts in my business.
Yeah, we use scripts for sure. But yeah, it's like a baseline. Kind of like you're saying, like you learn the script, you study the script, you know the script, you know what to say, but you can start to make your own path. Once you have that baseline, you know the direction you're going, you can take it down a different road if that's where the seller needs to go. You know what I mean? So that scripts are definitely important. Need those for sure.
Leading on from that question, what is your role in your business now? Like Jacob is in charge of dispositions. What do you do?
Well, so I don't know. I was waiting for him, but so right now I'm acquisitions manager. Okay, so we got 3 acquisition guys in the other room for me right now. They're just on the phone all day. So I'm just bouncing around. Hey, what we got? What's going on? Who's signing a contract today? Who's signing a contract today? Who are you following up with this person? Bop, 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 bop. And then I'm just in charge of training and stuff when we're doing it together. And then of course, like the whole vision type thing, like, okay, here's where we're going. Okay. We're going to hit this target. We're going to hit it by doing this and that. And then of course those like higher level meetings with Jacob as well. And like making sure that things are connecting the dots. Like we're having a few issues right now with a closing. There's some communication errors, and like it was literally supposed to close tomorrow. And now I'm getting word from the buyer's lender that they do all of their closings at a totally different title company. Now I'm like, why is this just now being brought up? So now I have to go into it and address that with everybody that needs to be, what's going on? Why is this happening right now? So just keeping everybody on track of the target and, you know, keeping everybody pumped up. I'm kind of crazy in the office. I kind of jump around and scream and do a lot of fun stuff, and gets everybody going. And then just let the contracts pour in.
Yeah. Sounds great. Rick, what about you? What are you doing?
Yeah, so right now I'm kind of doing a lot of acquisitions myself. So I had an office in Lexington. We had working for us there.
Who did you share an office with?
Your boy Ronnie.
Ronnie Masati. He's going to be coming on and talking about subject twos and lease options. All right, go ahead, Rick. So.
I had people down there, and then I also had 2 guys working for us here in Louisville, and string of events. You know, core values didn't exactly meet with some of them. Others just mutual, you know, parting ways. So I've been kind of back into the acquisition seat after not having to do that for quite some time. So we had fully intended to kind of scale back up as far as the people side goes. And then this whole coronavirus thing happened. So I'm running lean right now. So.
Sure. But, you know, it's a great time to pick up labor, though. People are sitting at home. They want to make money.
Yeah.
If you need callers, now's a great time to be looking. Of course,
we're hiring right now.
What?
If anybody's looking for a commission-only job, that's a ton of fun. We're hiring. So commission-only, like Rick said, I mean, we got to keep it lean right now. No telling what's going to happen in the next 30, 60, 90 days. So we're still locking deals up like normal. As of now, you know, of course, we're going a little bit lower now because everything's going on. But, yeah, I mean, if anybody's looking for a commission-only job, email me, please.
Okay, so 2 things. One, I forgot to give my awesome disclaimer, and I didn't hit record in the very beginning, so we missed, you know, some of my fun stories about Tender. But, guys, thanks again for being here. None of these opinions are representative of KREIA. They're our own opinions, so don't hold them against KREIA if we say something stupid. Jeff, your question was, do I have an update on how many houses are listed on the MLS and how many closings occurred recently? Right now there is 2,210 houses on the market, so we're a little bit up from last time I looked, and we had 572 closings over the last 2 weeks. So I don't think we're really seeing a huge hit yet. I mean, they're starting to the rules on lenders have changed, so they're rechecking employment 2 days before closing now. So some people are getting dinged on that, and then out-of-state investors are having to put more money down on these commercial deals, which is kind of hurting us a little bit. Okay, some guy named Frank Miller. I do that joke every time. I'm going to stop doing it. Sorry, Frank. What do you guys think of all the wannabe wholesalers out there trying to steal other deals on social media? Your thoughts?
I'll start on this. So in Lexington, like I am the quote-unquote mentor for the equivalent to KREIA in Lexington. All right. When it comes to wholesaling, I'm the guy. People come to me, ask me for help. I wish everyone would. As much as a time suck as it is, you see what's kind of going on in other states. And when people do this business wrong, it screws up all the fun for the people doing it right. And so it drives me absolutely bonkers. It is a time suck trying to help some of these people, but at the end of the day, I would rather spend that time than get sucked into, you know, the bad name that wholesalers already have. So I don't know, ask for help. You know, I think this whole notion of like the paralysis by analysis thing, like just go out and do something, just go out and take action. You know, if you're taking the wrong actions every single time, you're just screwing it up for everyone else. So like, yes, take action, but don't be a complete moron. All right. That's my opinion. Ask for help. You know, there's enough people. You have KREIA, you have the equivalent in Lexington. You have all these sources of people with more knowledge than you do. You know, I think you're being a little egotistical thinking you can do it by yourself, never having done a deal. So they drive me nuts, but come to me. I'm more than happy to help.
Wes, what about you?
Well, to be totally honest, I missed the first part of that question there, but I think what I'm picking up basically is where Rick was going with that. My point of view might be, if you don't know what you're doing and you can come to somebody who does and they can show you, maybe split the deal, however you guys can work that out. Maybe they don't take anything at all. Now you've learned this new knowledge and you can go out and repeat that over and over and over again. You're going to make way more money way faster when you actually, have a little bit of guidance. I kind of think, is that right? Is that about right?
Yeah.
As far as where we're going with this, I missed the question.
Yeah. If you could constructively listen when I talk, Wes, that'd be great.
Yeah, I know. I was got a few messages over here. I'm trying to catch up on them.
Ryan Gettlefinger, big wholesaler flipper guy in Indiana, is asking, what are some factors of a lead that y'all look at before investing more time and energy into the deal?
Stress and equity.
Yeah.
Wow, that was more succinct answer than I expected.
We go by 4 things. First and foremost is the reason why. That's the equivalent to stress. Why are they wanting to sell? What's going on in their life right now that they need to sell it quick? Repairs. I want to know if there's any sort of repairs on the property. Equity and price, and then timeline. Timeline third, and then price. The absolute last thing I really care about is their price of the property, because in my eyes, I can negotiate price. And if you're a good enough salesperson, you can really negotiate a good price. You can't negotiate stress. You can't negotiate a reason why for selling a property. That's black or white. Price, you can throw them. Okay, I understand you're retail for your property, but you need to close in 20 days and your house is atrocious. That could be negotiated. All right. So those are my 4 qualifiers. And if it checks 2 of the boxes, it's a good lead.
I'm taking more questions too. So if you have any more, Ryan, for follow-up. Sue is asking, what's the best way to get someone's phone number? Where do you guys recommend?
The internet.
Was there like a tool on the internet?
Yeah, truepeoplesearch.com is a great free site you can go to and search names.
They're all, there's so many out there.
Yeah, they're pretty much all the same for the most part. But you can do, like, on True People Search, I don't know about the one that he uses, but on truepeoplesearch.com, you can do reverse address lookup, and you can do reverse phone number lookup as well. So you might have a number for them, like, all right, let's see if this matches up with their name. But that's truepeoplesearch.com. It's a great way to get free numbers. I don't know about the white page
That's
one.
the kind of knowledge people pay to get on here for. It's free, but yeah, that's great. And then she's asking, where do you get your comps to come up with your ARV?
I get where I'm at. Like Lexington, I don't need necessarily a realtor or anything. I know what the properties are worth just because I know the market really well. In Louisville, I send everything to a realtor, have her comp it for me, and then I take it from there.
Yeah. So realtors and Zillow for me.
Yeah. Your favorite realtor, of course, Wes. Me, Okay. Jay Fletch, which I think is Jonathan Fletcher. The first criteria for where to buy your own house is if they have great internet service. Ooh, I think he's doing a dig at you, Wes. And that wasn't a question. Ryan Gettlefinger has a question. How do you manage showing properties to potential buyers that are owner occupied?
Come again?
How do you manage showing properties to potential buyers that are owner occupied?
Yeah, it's, generally, it's a quick conversation. Listen, Mr. Seller, the reason I'm able to close on these houses so fast is because I try to get everyone in here, whether it's an electrician, whether it's a plumber, whether it's a roofer. I try to get everyone in here at the same time, multiple contractors. I might even bring my partner and my realtor, and so then if you do have a big showing, it's A-okay.
It's a little bit more understandable. Wes, same answer?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we just got to get our people in. We can't expect us to buy a property we don't know anything about, do you? I'm not an expert contractor.
No.
I kind of go-to phrases. Listen, I like numbers. I don't like hammers. So someone's got to come dot my I's and cross my.
I like that. I like that a lot. I don't know who this is. I'm going to call him Gigi. What factors do you consider and what resources do you use to finalize reasonable offer to develop? And sorry, I think someone. Sounds like someone's in a car.
Somebody's in a car.
But I don't see anybody's. It's fine. What factors do you consider and what resources do you use to finalize the reasonable offer to seller? And then how do you create your asking price to the buyer?
We look for apple to apple comps in our business here. So we're looking for property. We're looking for comps that have sold in the neighborhood that are in similar condition to the property that we're looking at. So we're not taking, comps like if this house needs a full rehab, we're not comparing. We're looking for properties that have sold in the neighborhood that need a full rehab. Clearly, that's what it's going for. And then we just turn to the seller and say, hey, look, here's what they're going for in the neighborhood in this condition. So now it's me and the seller versus the market. It's not me and the seller versus each other. It's, hey, here's what they're going for in the area. Here's where we're going to be, somewhere in this ballpark. And then typically that means about what our buyer is going to be able to pay for it. So we, of course, need to be a little bit lower than that. And so that's how I formulate what we're going to get it for and sell it for.
Yeah, I think a general rule of thumb, if you're brand new, take a look at the good comps and then just factor out like 70% minus repairs or 75%. In this market, I don't know, maybe 70% right now. But that's a general rule of thumb. So I think as you gain experience, you can kind of do that a little different, but that's the best way to do it for a newbie.
Concur for sure. We're actually in like a really fortunate time, it's never a fortunate time to have a pandemic, but that being said, like if this was going into the winter, I would see some drastic prices like drops. But since we're going to our busy season and interest rates are so good, I think it's going to like up and down it. So it's going to be pretty even. So I think our market's it'll level out. I think we're in good shape. Miguel, hey, Jacob Branch, the other brother who buys houses, dispositions guy. Maybe we can bring him on to talk disposition sometime. A guy named Michael is asking you guys, what do you do with all the leads that you don't want to bark up? Are you guys just handing them off to someone? Or you said you're not even mining the West End. Oh, you still have some. What are you doing with them? With leads that are coming in from those areas, like if you're not going to follow up with them, I think he's wanting to know, are you having other people mine your leads?
So on the West End leads, I can show you my CRM right now, but like I can text through my CRM. So all these West End deals that come through or West End leads, I literally just shoot them a text. Will you take $1,000 for your house? So, I don't even call them. I don't do anything. And if they come anywhere remotely close to that number, then I'll obviously pick up the phone and call them, but I'm not doing anything.
Probably not a bad way to weed through a bunch of leads.
Yeah, so you should tell her to give her a call.
But I don't know. If you're just talking about our bad leads, every lead gets cycled through the CRM and it's either being called or texted, RV. One way, shape, or form, they're getting a follow-up.
Okay. Frank Miller's asking, are you guys happy with where your business has come at such an early age and a short time in the business? What are your short-term goals and what is your why?
So, Frank, I read your question a second ago and it had me pondering. Am I happy with where I am right now personally? I wouldn't say I'm unhappy because, I got to be happy to allow the things that I want to come into my life to come to me. But with that being said, never satisfied. So where we are today, I would like to, no. I think even whenever we get to that goal, that target, the target's changed. Now that we're at the target's changed. So it's like now we're going somewhere else. Now it just keeps changing, keeps evolving as we do, as we grow and we learn and we just, become better at what we do. So I don't know. I think it's an everlasting pursuit of chasing that greatest version of what we can be and accomplish. So that's always going to change for me for sure. My goal is to be totally uninvolved, like with the business, have an actual business. Leads come in.
7th
qualify.
Phased out.
What's that?
7th level, phased out. It can run separate of you.
Yeah, exactly. So I can go on a 4-week vacation and not get a phone call and business operates as usual. You know what I mean? That's
a treat.
What a treat. Yeah. And then come home, bounce into the office. I'm out again. You know what I mean? That's where I'd like to take it to go and have that takes people, that takes good people that know what they're doing. So we're working on that right now, getting those people in, getting them trained up. And,
you want to own the business, not run the business.
Yeah. And then I get to go out and get into other businesses and other ventures and stuff that are Because, in reality, this is actually a really small business. I don't see our wholesaling business being a nationwide business, that does deals in every market. That's some guys' goal. But, for us, that's as of right now, that's not the goal. If we can get to X amount of dollars a year, to really go up from there, you start seeing increasing, diminishing returns, and it's not a big business. It's just not in scale. So, just want to get it to a good point and kind of step out.
What about you, Rick Boyd?
It's kind of funny the question was asked because Wes Jacob and I, we were actually talking about this Friday when I was at their office. Same goal here. I have zero intentions of being in this business, a year and a half, 2 years from now. It's just not my goals. It's not my plans. I want to scale it to where it's doing exactly like Wes said, X amount of dollars, and then I can step out. My why is to have options. And what I mean by options is an option to whether I want to necessarily work in this business today or not. Right now I'm at a point where, if I wake up, it's not like I can just go do whatever I want. Business stuff has to be done. And so I don't have that option. I can't see myself ever being that guy that just goes and sits on a beach. And I never have it's not who I am. It's not how I'm wired. I got to be doing something. I'm very ADD in that sense. So, but I don't necessarily want to work on this business all the time. I want to take, my love for business and work and put that into something else and watch that grow, watch that bear fruit, and then take, some of that and put it into something else. I like seeing, my wife, she's got that creative bone and she wants to do a flip so bad. And I'm like, I don't think it's cool seeing a crap property go and look nice. I don't get any high off that. I like seeing the numbers. I like seeing the numbers grow, but I don't care to see the house go from bad to cool. It just doesn't excite me, but I like seeing businesses grow. And so that's my full plans is just take what I've learned from this, apply that to something else, and just keep doing it until we have multiple businesses.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of fun stuff ahead of all of us, thankfully. So what is your contract to close ratio from signing contract to getting to closing?
At scale, it's the experts say it's about 50%. Ours is a little bit higher than that. So if we put 5 deals under contract a week, 2 to 3 of them are going to close, or are going to actually close. So we're seeing these properties sight unseen, and there's 3 reasons we would ever back out. Miscomped it, there's title issues, or what's the third one?
Liens.
So that's title issues, miscomped title issues, or well, I'm having a brain fart and I can't remember. But basically, what's that?
I was going to say, in my case, because we are doing it without seeing the property, we get to the house after it's locked up and there's a huge crack in the foundation that they never told us about.
Exactly.
Would be our third option, third reason rather.
Exactly. Yeah. So then that being said, they might not be really willing to negotiate based on that factor of the crack in the foundation. And then so it's like, okay, well, our business here is pretty much done. On to the next.
Are you guys basically, would you say with the way your businesses are set up, you're basically business as normal right now with all the Corona stuff going on?
Yeah. In my case, I've talked to, so I think there's buyers in whatever market you're in. And I think if you really want to know what buyers think, I think you definitely need to talk to a wholesaler, because if they're doing their job correctly, they should be talking to buyers more than any other person around, because their whole business is kind of strung along their success, the buyer's success. So most of my buyers are cool. They're good. I do have a lot that are also, they're kind of holding off. They're waiting. I talked to a buyer this morning and he said his lenders are taking a 10% cut on the appraisals, which that's the first time I've heard that. So, I think we're both, Wes and I are both in a spot where you almost have to proceed with business as usual. You can lean certain things out, but there's going to be people that need to sell their house. There's going to be buyers and investors that want to buy a house. We don't have another option but to proceed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't at all.
Same answer, Wes, would you say?
Yeah, same answer. Yeah, and then so let's pretend like this passes over and let's just say 90 days from now, we're starting to do is we're putting longer everything on these contracts we're putting. So we're usually 14 business day inspection, and then also 45 days close is typically what we do with our sellers. So now we're doing 28 business day inspection, and then we're doing like a 90-day close on everything, even if it has a clean title and everything checks out, just because everything's just taking a lot longer right now. But with that being said, everything passes over in 90 days. And everybody's back to business like normal, everybody, then now we have all these deals that we can supply to our buyers in the market and, turn that up.
Concur for sure. So what CRM platform are you guys currently using in phone system?
We use a custom Podio. That's what we use. We just started using it about a month ago. It's great. Love it. And phone system?
Yeah. Are you like Mojo Dialer or what are you using?
We use ZenCall. And we've got like some office phones as well, and like they all kind of route. It's really confusing, and it works.
Okay. What about you, Rick?
We use Investor PO. It was a Podio backend, so same thing.
Awesome. A lot of people are asking that, so that's a wealth of knowledge.
No, let me touch on that whole CRM thing though. It's not necessary. Unless you're doing, if you have a lot of deal flow coming in. Like if you're doing a deal a month, you don't need a CRM. Maybe you can I think Podio is free if it's like you just build it out to what you want it to be. I don't know, it might be like $10 a month. Maybe that's appropriate. But unless you have a lot of deals come or a lot of leads come in that need to be funneled with, and like, you're got a lot going on, you don't really need a CRM. Like if your plan is to do 10 deals a year, you don't need a CRM. You just don't.
Yeah, I agree.
We didn't even have a CRM until I think September of last year, and I mean we were doing 3 to 5 deals a month at that time before we ever.
Everybody gets hung up. I'm not saying everybody. A lot of people get hung up on like all the details. Oh, I need a CRM. I need a dialer. I need employees before I can start doing anything, and that's not the case. Just get out your pen and paper, go get in your car, get 150 properties like Rick said. Call them, and then if you need help, call one of us, and we'll help you walk you through it. It's very simple. And then rinse and repeat.
Nice. I'm sure a lot of people actually needed to hear that.
Yeah,
okay, so real quickly touch on this one. We've got other questions, but this one can get really long. So quick as you can. Could you provide some details about how you estimate repair costs, especially when you do not visit the property?
I was reading another question. I didn't listen.
So what we do is for repair. He's asking how do we estimate repair costs. So for us personally, we've done several flips, so we've got a general idea on what these things cost. But for those of you who haven't, I mean, we go off what the seller tells us. So if the kitchen hasn't been updated, okay, it needs a new kitchen, $10,000. Oh, it needs a roof, okay, $10,000. It needs a bathroom, $5,000. We just kind of ballpark these prices. We're not going in. We don't know exactly what it's going to take. We have no idea, but we're taking it based off of, you can do it off square footage and just really, you can get like a sheet. Like, I know Frank Miller has one you might be able to get from him. He says, here's what something like that. You can go through and check the list and say, this costs this costs that, and then just kind of add it all up and go from there. Definitely don't want to overthink that. But, if you just do a little bit of research on like what things cost and studying, it's very simple. You don't need to be an expert contractor.
When I first got into the business, because I had zero clue when it came to fixing anything. The first few properties that I went to, I actually called up a contractor and asked for a quote because I was looking to flip this house. And after wasting 3 contractors' times on 3 different properties, I stole all their itemized sheets of repairs and what everything was going to cost. And then I took it. Now, once you do start doing deals, what I would recommend is after you sell a deal to someone, call up your investor and say, hey man, how much did you spend on that property? And the buyer was like, okay, this guy actually cares. He wants to know about the deal. So you're building a relationship there. But secondly, you actually get a true number on what that property costs versus what you had anticipated it costing.
That's awesome. That's a great idea.
That's a gold nugget right there.
Love it. And mortgage lenders are starting to do the same thing where they're reaching across the table and reaching out to other people and saying, hey, it was such a pleasure working with you, realtor, let's do some more deals. There's just a lot of stuff you can do, small things that get big results. Another recommendation is J.K. Scott from Bigger Pockets has a book called Estimating Repairs. it's worth checking out, especially with all of us being stuck at home right now. Okay. Chris is asking, how are you presenting and positioning and representing yourself to the sellers you speak with? Obviously, you're letting them know you're an investor, but are you being transparent that you're going to be reselling the property quickly for a profit? Are they of the impression you're going to rent it, flip it, etc., fix it, flip it, or does your end goal just not come up? Start with you, Rick.
Generally, my end goal doesn't come up. So I kind of tell them, listen, we buy properties for several different reasons. We either fix it up and flip it, we take it down and rent it, or we buy it and we turn around and sell it without doing anything. So at the end of the day, 95% of the people that we are dealing with are people that are motivated to sell their house. They don't care what we're going to do with the property. They care about, can you close? And so that's the confidence that we kind of exude to them is, yeah, hey, we're going to close on the property, as long as you're being completely forthright with what's wrong with the house. And so now there have been plenty of sellers where they really wanted to know what we were going to do with the property in regards to a flip. And so I would send them pictures of what my buyer was doing through the project and after the project. And so they were thrilled, and that's all they really care about. But we've done, over 100 deals, and I've never had a seller complain at closing because they didn't see me signing the paperwork. So never had a seller complain.
Wes?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just don't overthink it. We buy these properties to make money on them. We buy a lot of property, and we've got a lot of different partners we work with. Are you okay with us making money on your property? That's a question I love to ask. If they're not okay with you making money on your property, you're probably not going to do business with them because they're going to want top dollar, and you're not going to be able to do business with them at the end of the day. So, Mr. Seller, we're investors, and, we don't do this for charity. We do this to make money. Are you okay with us making money? Oh, absolutely. I want you to make money. I love that response. That's great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's so funny you say that. It's one of my lines I've always said is, regardless of what my wife thinks, I'm not a charity. We are an actual for-profit business. So
yeah. Just be real with these people. Don't overthink it. I don't know. I get it when you're new and you're starting out. It's very easy to overthink these things like the CRM and like, what are they going to say what do I say when they say this? At the end of the day, you're doing this to make money. I don't know what I'm going to do with it quite yet. I'm buying 5 properties right now.
Yeah.
They don't care. They're motivated. They don't care.
Paul, the name of the company is Brother Buy Houses, and they're looking for commission-only cold callers, just in case you missed it. Jacob, we all know Jacob, Big Jake. How much do you net after paying your team in marketing, and how much do you spend on marketing a month?
That's a deep question right there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I couldn't tell you exactly how much I spend on a monthly basis, nor could I tell you. I definitely have zero idea how much I net. So whenever it comes to our business, I'm definitely hands off when it comes to finances. If it was up to me, 100% of our money would go right back into marketing, and none of our bills, our mortgage, nothing would ever get paid. So my wife takes care of 100% of the finances. I can't do that. No one would get paid.
What about
you? I agree and disagree with Rick. I wouldn't be profitable. So our goal is not that you don't, Rick, but you're saying
Wes, you cut out.
It's not mine either. But with that being said, our goal.
Wes,
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Am I back?
Delayed a little bit. You're back now.
I'm back now. Okay. So I think our target is 35% profit. Okay. Do we hit that? I don't know. I don't know that we do or not. That's after, basically about 20%. I'm going to ballpark, and I only know a couple of numbers off the top of my head, but like the model is about 20% of your revenue should be spent on marketing. And then it breaks down to where, I don't know, there's no like 15% that's like goes to like your G&A, which is like your general expenses and admin. And then this is not my apartment, so I don't really know all the rest of them, but
the other 20
sounds where it should be about 35% profitability. Did we hit that? I don't know. I need to know that. I should know that. So I'm going to look into that. Thank you for reminding me to, because if you can't see, somebody just threw into something about KPIs. If you're not looking at your numbers, like you don't really know where you stand. You know what I mean? So it's very important to track those things and know that. But 35%.
I don't track any of my numbers, for the record. I don't. Nothing. Okay. Jim Young's asking, if you're still locking up deals and assume some will not complete, are you losing money on a down payment, or do you structure the deal to avoid earnest money? I think I know the answer to this. Go ahead, guys.
We don't lose money.
Yeah. I mean, there's always an out on these, for financing, or whether it be inspection or my business partner approval or whatnot. There's always an out.
We just do, like I said a minute ago, we do a 14 business day inspection period. So we put down $100 earnest deposit. Only, I'm going to say maybe 5 times in our business life if someone asks us to do more than $100, and we'll do it if it's a good enough deal. And then again, it's still refundable during our inspection period. So if we can't get a buyer within those 14 business days, then we just call it donezo and just get our earnest deposit back and go from there.
All right, guys. Well, it looks like we're about out of questions. So I've got 2 more. One, right now, I mean, Wes, you answered this a couple nights ago, but what podcast would you recommend people check out to learn more about wholesaling, and what book would you recommend right now to everybody on the call?
Podcast, the Wholesaling Inc. podcast is great for people just getting started with wholesaling. Wholesaling Inc. It's really phenomenal. I've been to one of their events as well. So it's great. It's great. They get their guests on there, or they get their students on there, and they talk about all the success they're having and what's working and what's not. And they really just kind of lay it all out. It's fantastic. Max Maxwell has a great YouTube channel. I definitely check him out. Cody Sperber is awesome as well. I learned all of the beginning stuff from him from Periscope, which isn't a thing anymore. Not that I know of.
It is, just no one uses it.
And books, I'll tell you, is it? I just finished this one, The Miracle Morning for Millionaires. Miracle Morning, it's phenomenal. I'm really into being present here in my brain and getting me right. Because at this point, if in order to grow the business and grow, I need to grow, and that starts up here. So I've got to grow my brain and realize what's possible by working on me to be able to implement that into our business. So that's really important to me, and that's a lot of what I work on a lot. So I'd recommend everybody read that one, Miracle Morning for Millionaires. It's great.
Yeah, I definitely think from a podcast standpoint, Wholesaling Inc. is really good, especially for newer wholesalers. I think Steve Trang's Real Estate Disruptors, that's a good podcast. Actually, Louisville's very own Bo Hollis, he's got his own podcast out right now. So that's a good one. As far as a book, one of the best ones that I've read is How to Win Friends and Influence People. I think being like a true sales guy, I think that is one of the most beneficial books if you just want to learn how to talk to people and kind of go from playing chess to playing checkers with conversations. I think that's the best way you can put it. Most people are playing checkers.
Right? Checkers to chess?
Yeah, checkers to chess. I think people, when they're talking, they're playing checkers and they get mad and they get irritated and, that trying to make themselves feel good as opposed to getting what they want out of a conversation. So I think this book is huge with that. A book that I'm reading right now, if you're in business and you are a small business, the E-Myth Revisited, holy cow, incredible book, great book. Totally recommend that. So
I agree with that.
Brian Hammerley is a huge advocate for that book.
Oh man, it's great. Lastly, from a mindset, I'm big on mindset as well. Hands down, anything by Jocko Willink. So Extreme Ownership and Dichotomy of Leadership, mind blown. Incredible books, transformation in my mind. So,
well, that's awesome. Guys, I want to thank everybody for being on the call. I'm going to give you a little update. So today we have the wholesalers. Wednesday, Brad Rue and Brett Grigsby are coming. They're young guys. They're just killing it. Brad's a savage. I think you guys are going to really be entertained by him. Friday, we have Bob Gurman and I believe Fred Levine. These guys weathered 2001, 2008, so we're going to talk to them, which should be interesting contrast to these young guys on Wednesday. Monday, we're doing Airbnb. Jonathan Klunk's coming on, and I'm reaching out to David Orange. Wednesday, next week, Rick Luttrell is going to be talking about KREIA membership benefits. There's a lot of stuff that you probably don't know that you get with joining KREIA. Friday, after that, we're having syndicating multifamilies with Chase Craddock, Lindsay Nukes, and Luke Harwell. And then on Monday, well, it's not set in stone. Ronnie's going to come on. I'm going to reach out to Michael Brown. And then I've got some national people that are going to come in talking about some more hyper-focused things as well. But thank you guys for coming on, and all have a great day. I'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks. See you.
See you guys. Thanks. See ya.